So for his part, Governor Mike Pence made the case against Hillary Clinton in a way that some critics wanted Donald Trump to do during last week's presidential debate. Here was one exchange getting a lot of attention.
At a time when literally, in the wake of Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State, where she was the architect of the Obama administration's foreign policy, we see entire portions of the world, particularly the wider Middle East, literally spinning out of control. At a time of great challenge in the life of this nation, where we've weakened America's place in the world, stifled America's economy, the campaign of Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine has been an avalanche of insults. The Clinton Foundation accepted foreign contributions from foreign governments and foreign donors while she was Secretary of State.
Okay, now I can weigh.
She had a private server.
I get to weigh in
that
now.
was
Let me just say
discovered
which I did raise.
to keep that pay-to-play process
you have an opportunity
out of the reach of the
Governor
public.
Pence doesn't think the world's going so well, and he, is going to say it's everybody's fault.
Do you?
Brian Fallon is the National Press Secretary for Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. He's with me now. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So what do you make of that? Because you heard Kellyanne make the point, that was my question to Lanny Davis, whether these women that both campaigns are fighting for, right, who could make the difference in this election, are going to like how interrupty, to borrow Steyerwalt's word, he was. I mean, constantly interrupting.
Well, a running mate has two jobs in a debate like this. Number one is to defend your candidate, the person at the top of the ticket. And I thought Tim Kaine was hugely effective at defending Hillary Clinton when she came under false attacks from Mike Pence, helping make the affirmative case about what Clinton-Kaine administration would do on the economy. And then secondly, you need to make the case against the other person on the other side of the ballot. And I thought that he was extremely effective at making the case about why Donald Trump is temperamentally unfit to be president. And the reason he was so effective was he was citing Trump's own words. And what was most notable, I thought, was that Mike Pence was sort of not engaging at those points. Whether
was that, and let me get to Pence in one second, but was that a strategy to have him, it doesn't matter how many times he interrupts, just keep saying these few core messages or launching these few core attacks over and over again?
Well, look, it's easy to seem agreeable if you're not making any case on behalf of your candidate. And Mike Pence, I thought, sort of sat out major portions of the debate where Tim Kaine was calling out statements that Donald Trump has made. And I thought that was perfectly reasonable. And I thought that what was notable was that Mike Pence didn't seem interested in defending some of Donald Trump's more outrageous comments. It seemed like he made a conclusion coming into tonight that he didn't want to have to defend the indefensible.
He did make a reference at one point to the fact that, listen, this is not a professional politician. He hasn't lived the past, several decades running for office and watching everything he says.
Well, look, just take an issue like Russia. I mean, Donald Trump has gone around in the course of this campaign and he's expressed admiration for Vladimir Putin. He's essentially endorsed a wish list of pro-Putin policies. He suggested we should withdraw from NATO, which would put our Eastern European allies at risk. And then tonight we heard a completely different message from Mike Pence. He was talking about how Putin was a bully and he was small. I mean, at the next debate, I hope that Donald Trump will be asked if he agrees with what Mike Pence said. And I think that showed that Mike Pence had his own agenda tonight. And to me, it almost meant that he was auditioning for 2020 more than he cared about electing Donald Trump in 2016.
What about Hillary Clinton's point tonight suggesting that she and President Obama have stopped Iran's nuclear program? I mean, no one thinks it's stopped. At best, it's been curbed at absolute best, but it hasn't been shut down.
Oh, look, there is no question that as a result of the deal that was struck by the Obama administration last year, that we have suspended and put on hold the complete ambitions of the Iran regime to acquire nuclear weapons. The status quo was not going to be tenable, and I think that
it hasn't been stopped. The capability is not gone. At best, it's been paused. It hasn't been stopped. It's been curbed, but it's still in operation. You know that.
We are on much safer footing today vis-a-vis Iran.
But that's a different statement.
Agreement.
That's a different statement. What he said tonight is factually wrong.
I don't think that's true at all.
You believe the Iranian nuclear program has stopped. That's her position and your position.
Yes.
It's stopped. It's over.
Yeah, well...
Congratulations.
Well, no, Kelly, let's be clear. We're not suggesting that the Iranians don't continue to harbor ambitions to pursue nuclear weapons, but their capability to pursue that nuclear program is completely off now. And that's why Hillary Clinton has said we need to take a distrust but verify approach. She doesn't suddenly believe that Iran is an ally of any kind. They're continuing to fund terrorism in the region. They're continuing to sow instability all across the Middle East. And so, yes, absolutely, they still have a mind to pursue nuclear weapons, but they're not going to be able to do so under this agreement.
Let's pick up on the last point that I was discussing with Kellyanne, which is the women, right? And there's a gender gap, and that's true. Trump is definitely struggling with women. But Hillary Clinton is struggling worse with men. The gender gap is worse on her end in getting men. And you tell me what she's going to do, if anything, between now and November 8th to reach out to them.
Well, we always are seeking to reach out to voters that are not currently supporting Hillary Clinton. We're going to continue to do that. But if you look at some of the national polls that came out just yesterday, she is making complete inroads with male voters. And I think that the gap is so much more pronounced among women voters that it's a point where Donald Trump can't recover if those numbers stay the same in terms of that gender gap. And so it's Donald Trump that has more repair work to do with women voters. That's why Hillary Clinton was today in Delaware County in Pennsylvania making the case to women, a lot of them probably Mitt Romney voters in 2012, on issues like pay equity, paid family leave, child care, with her daughter there, with Elizabeth Banks there. I think that was extremely powerful, and that gender gap is going to be irrecoverable for Donald Trump. And unfortunately, tonight there was nothing that Mike Pence could say that would change that dynamic for Donald Trump.
Okay, so you see no game changer this evening.
It's impossible for the number twos to change the dynamic. The problem is the guy at the top, Donald Trump.
Great to see you, Brian.
Thanks.
Thanks for being